Hi, this is Jason Scott with another episode of My Ag Life. And today I've got Robert here, CEO, president of the California Walnut Board and Commission. How are you doing today?
Awesome. Very energized with the program that we've been having today.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be here with you. So, my first question to you is, as you look at the walnut industry today, what do you believe is the single biggest opportunity California growers are not fully capitalizing on?
Well, I think it remains the same as what we have seen over the last 3 years, and that the opportunity is huge. The challenges are equally as large. And it really is, how can we get the industry to be working together to solve common problems? We certainly see it at the board of directors levels for both of the organizations. There are a lot of dynamics in the marketplace right now, whether it's tariffs and trade barriers, whether it's overproduction, and that's what we're suffering from this year. Saw a much larger crop than we had anticipated. So we all got to really take a good hard look at how do we manage data, how do we manage changes that come up, and then understand that nobody necessarily is at fault. That really the issue comes down to how do we respond to that. So I think in the near term, that's one thing we have to look at. In the long term, I still continue to advocate that we need to get our sellers much more consolidated. I've been talking about this for the last few weeks, really wanting to encourage our sellers to look at how they can come together and create a better go-to-market strategy. I think if we can get everybody on the same page instead of fighting for the same market share or their portion of the market share, which they think is finite, it's actually flexible and it's elastic. We need to get less voices out there with disparate pricing structures and customer bases. If we can consolidate, I think that really helps us in the long run. And that's a challenge. And I think we need to address some tough issues for long-term success. And if we get a reduction in the India tariff, everyone will think that everything is fine. And I would advocate it's a step in the right direction. It'd be fabulous for the industry, but we still need to look at some fundamental things. And one of the things I'd like to encourage is how can we consolidate our sales forces?
And the global markets has shifted dramatically over the past few years. Where do you see the strongest international demand for California walnuts right now? And what needs to happen to grow it?
Well, I think again, it depends on what time window you're looking at, right? So if you go back to, let's say, 7, 8, 9 years ago, we were heavily dependent on exports to China. All commodities that have been challenged by what goes on in China have not anticipated far enough in advance what the shift was going to be. And it's pretty clear that the walnut industry also didn't see that shift from China being a net importer to a net exporter. And so how we combat that is quality, consistency, better customer relationship building, really understanding what the market needs and then meeting that need accordingly. And that means getting out in front of our customer base and understanding what their needs are, like I said, fulfilling those needs at the same time. We worry a lot about what China is doing. My focus is, it's not so much what China is doing, it's for us, it's what are we doing to be the best that we can possibly be. And so it's more of an internal look, and that would apply to other competitive producing areas as well, such as Chile, which produces off season, but they're great producers. I think everybody recognizes their quality is really good, comparable to what we do. And so they can actually be compatible in approaching the marketplace. So those are two things. But the number one market that we own and we should be exploiting in many more ways is the domestic market. And so I totally understand that we send all of our great quality internationally, but we also have really good quality that can go into the domestic market. I think we need to find ways to marry up with the retailers and do more one-on-one selling, really take a good hard look at how do we get our sales force talking to the buyers at some of the major retailers? And the success stories are there. Take a look at Costco, Sam's Club, Walmart. A lot of our handlers have one-on-one relationships there. We need to do that throughout the U.S. retail market. And then, we see tremendous opportunity in food service. But again, you can't have the mindset of selling an ingredient item to a distributor. It needs to be sold through all the way to the restaurant operator and the chefs. And so I think it really is what we're starting to see is a maturation of the marketplace. And it's no longer, do I wait for the orders to come to me? I got to go out and really grow the orders and make them happen, listen to what our customers are saying, and then meet those needs. That's a little bit of a fundamental shift from where we've been over the last 15, 20 years.
I had an opportunity to go and taste some of the samplings that you guys are engaging the growers with today, and the walnut horchata was amazing. I was inspired. I was like, how do I bottle this up and sell it myself? Are there any new up and coming solutions like that that you guys think have a lot of promise?
Yeah, certainly that's one. The other one that's over there that everybody's talking about because it's such a surprise is our ranch dressing.
Okay.
And, it's a plant-based execution of that. Very flavorful, actually very easy to do. But for us to get the right kind of volume out of that, what we want to take is low value walnuts that may not be good for the fresh market, convert that, and then make the ranch dressing out of that. We're going to have to work with third parties to do that and get it shelf stable, get it out in the marketplace. And so we're in that early stage of understanding our ingredient has become a component in a final product. And now how do you take that final product to market? And it's one of many things that we're working on that is adding value to maybe a low value part of our overall product offering. But if we're able to do that and find ways to inspire manufacturers, third-party manufacturing of these type of products, the size of the pie is really large, and it doesn't compete against fresh. It doesn't compete against our flavors that we're selling, in the produce department, in the baking aisle, or in the snacking aisle. So this is a way to find incremental value out there.